Hey, it's Eric. Welcome to episode 2 of the PBP After Party for PBP 2019. The After Party is your chance to tell everybody via this channel about your experiences on PBP, what you learned, what your high and low points were, and what you would offer as advice to other riders thinking about doing it again in 2023. So in this episode of the After Party, I'm featuring Scott Cowan. Scott is my good friend, lives in San Francisco. He and I did most of the brevets together this year. He helped me a lot in finishing my 600K brevet, and we got to France intending to ride the event together. That ended up not working out for a few reasons. Unfortunately, neither he nor I finished the event. And in this episode of the After Party, Scott's going to talk a little bit about what his experiences were, what happened to his ride, and his thoughts about doing it again. So take it away, Scott. Yeah, okay, so tell us who you are.
I am Scott Cowan.
You're from?
San Francisco, California, SFR.
So Scott, you went to PBP this year.
Second time I went there.
Second time you went, and what was your experience?
Well,
unfortunately
I
did not finish.
started both times, and the first time I did a whole 1,000K before I was done. The second time I didn't go that far. I did about a third of the ride and stopped in Tenteniac on the way out.
So what would you say what went wrong with your ride this time? And just for the record, I also did not finish, so we're in the same boat. You went farther than I did.
That's true. I saw you in Ludeac, and
no, you saw me in.
That's true too. I saw you in
Vilaine-la-Juelle.
I saw you in Vilaine-la-Juelle. Yes, and you were done. That's true. And
I was cooked.
You were cooked.
I was well done.
And my bike was on the stand when you rolled into Vilaine because it had a few little issues with the front derailleur, and I had fixed 3 flats by that time too. I in Vilaine, as you know, I met some old friends because that's where I had finished the 1,000K on the way back 4 years earlier, and they insisted on buying me lunch and taking I don't know how many pictures with everybody in the town. I think it was. They remembered me so well. I think they were just happy that I was still alive the way I looked 4 years earlier. They were like, he lived! We didn't believe it. And by the time I finished those flats and that mechanical fix of the derailleur and all that food and pictures and said goodbye to you, I was way behind and I stopped seeing anybody I knew. But almost. There were a few of us stragglers.
Because we were both behind. We were about 3-4 hours behind schedule after only riding for 12 hours.
Yeah, I can't imagine why I would fall behind. I don't know what it was. So I did continue, and I remember stopping along the road another 100K up at a little tiny bit of a town that if you blinked you'd go through, and there was a cafe. Like we have gas stations, they have cafes in France. And there was a Japanese rider there who didn't speak English, but he did speak cafe, and he ordered hard liquor in the cafe. And I'm looking thinking I know why he's behind, and he insisted on that, and they were trying to talk him out of it, but they couldn't. So I continued, and I went into Fouzia, where I had a drop bag waiting for me. I worked out a deal with some locals, and I changed clothes, and I started to get my confidence back, and everything was great. And that was right. It had gotten dark right about there for me. It wasn't supposed to get dark till I was in Tenteniac, but I was in Fouzia, far behind where I wanted to be. And I took off, and I'm feeling great. Wind is in my sails, and so was the rain. And there was the only tiny shower. It was really not that much, but it was a tiny shower. It happened right there. So I started to get wet, and that's when I rued not bringing a rain jacket. So I as Eric knows, I lost my rain jacket the night before, the day before we took a group picture, and I set it down and only realized that hours later when I went back to look for it and it was no longer there. And I got, though, the jacket, a very light wind vest of one of the best bicycle makers in all of France. And I figured, well, this is going to work for me. I have Oliviers Jacket from Alex Saint-Germain. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to do the ride. It was actually his own jacket full of his sweat, and it was all balled up in the back of his saddlebag. And he was so happy to give it to me because he sold out of everything that he had possibly had in his shop. So he handed this to me, and he'd been drinking well that night already. It was the closed up shop, and he was just great. So I figured, okay, I'm untouchable, and Eric wasn't even going to take his rain jacket, and he offered it to me, but I figured...
I did. Here's my jacket.
Exactly. And I figured, well, if you're not taking it, why am I going to carry that thing around? On the hill leading out of Fouzia, I figured out why. Because it was dark, and it rained, and it was getting cooler, and here I was wet, and it was a little invigorating until it got cold. And then it was just debilitating. So I wasn't quite as happy, but I was still sure I was going to make it. And I could see the rain coming into my light, and this is when things went farther south. I'm going down the road, and there's very few other riders on the road, and no cars, except for one. And it's honking at me. And I'm like, I'm nowhere near you, calm down. And it's honking more and more and more. And I'm just like, leave me alone. I'm going down a descent and I'm feeling good. And I pushed really hard, and I'm like, woo! And then this car pulls up alongside me and says, hey buddy, are you on the ride? And I go, yeah. And they go, well, you missed your turn back there. So, very nice of them to actually get in their car and come chase me. I pedaled back up the hill a half mile, a mile, and got back on the route in the dark. That's why I missed the turn. And kept going, and everything was fine. I was getting a little chilly, but I was okay. And I reached down to try to adjust my light, as I had done many a time before, forgetting that I had remounted the light and tightened it differently. And it worked. I adjusted in front while rolling, feeling like, yeah, I'm a randonneur. I can do things while I ride. 18 pedal strokes later, boom, the light fell off. It had just totally, the mount had fallen off. It was attached to the arm, but had broken off of the rack. And it was lighting beautifully the road, right underneath my saddle. So that didn't work, and I spent 45 more minutes in the very wet, very narrow shoulder of the road, getting cursed in Russian. I learned some Russian, how to curse somebody in Russian. A Russian rider went past me, and she was not happy with the way that I was only half off the road because there was a big ditch right next to me, so I was kind of straddling that. And in this little patch of very wet grass, I spent 45 minutes bungeeing my light into some sort of condition to be able to continue riding into Tentaneac. And I had to go so slowly because I couldn't really get the light to shine very far ahead, that I was so wet and so cold and so tired and so defeated after this experience that I just told them, I'm going to take a nap and you don't have to wake me up. And I gave up on the way out in Tentaneac. And then I was okay with my decision that night, but when I woke up to the bright sunshine in the morning and felt good and realized that I shouldn't have done that, I kind of wish I hadn't.
So you're just too far behind at that point to keep on going?
I don't think I could have finished inside the time limit, but I wish now that I had decided just to finish outside the time limit.
Of course, now we learned after the ride that they were giving out medals if you finished the course even outside the time limit. You just weren't.
Well, you know I ride only for the medal, so that's.
You could have gotten the medal.
I should just go back there and go get one. They'd probably give it to me just if I came all the way back.
Right. So in retrospect, what would you have done differently?
Several things, actually. Number one, I would bring a rain jacket even when there's no forecast of rain. Number two, I would practice with my everything that can be adjusted. I would practice a lot more. I had done some, but I forgot how stupid I get while riding. So by the end, you get cold, you get tired, you get stupid. And you have to, I have to know things, not in my brain, because my brain doesn't work when I get tired. I have to know things in my heart. And so I need to practice much, much more anything that I might want to adjust on the bike. I also needed to get in shape much earlier. I did get in decent shape, but only from February until June pretty well. And then from June until the ride, I got into good shape. And that's just not enough for me at 57. It was enough for me at 37. It's not enough at 57. And next time, if I try again, I'll be 61. I have a sense that it's probably not going to get easier.
So you're going to go back?
I'm not sure yet. I promised myself that I would do a ride here of 1200K before I tried PBP again.
So maybe in 2021, something like that? Because we have until 2023 to
Correct.
decide.
So I was thinking 2021 I would do a fairly easy 1200 somewhere and see how that goes. And if I complete that, then I'm for sure going to do it. And if I don't, then I'm very unlikely to drag myself back there again. Although I love France and I'll go and I'll ride. I had a great time training all over Western Europe. That was actually super fun. So I'll be doing that.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Thank you, Scott. So if you, the viewer, would like to be featured in a future edition of the After Party, send me an email. I'll put the link down in, or the information down in the description. I'll tell you how you can either upload your videos, or you can tell me where you've put them. I'll put them together into a video like this, and we'll post it here on my channel, and you can talk to randonneurs around the world about your PBP experience. So as always, if you like this video, please hit the like button. That helps YouTube show this video to more people who are interested in this topic. If you'd like to be notified about future videos, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. We have at least 2 more after party videos coming up, and looking forward to seeing even more folks sending in their videos. So thanks again for those who have, and I look forward to seeing more videos coming in, and I'll see you online. Bye.